So let me make it clear that what is the purpose of this meeting. I have written it quite clearly. I don't know how many of you actually read it. The whole idea is that if you are not learning, your child will not learn to learn. If you are all the time dependent on somebody's knowledge, somebody else's knowledge, reading books, learning from experts, that is what your child will become. The child will not become authentic learner. So first and foremost thing for you is to stop applying knowledge rather than accept that you do not know and start observing children. So the most important thing, if you want your child to be a learner, is to accept that you do not know and you observe your child and become a learner. You see, a learner is someone who accepts that he doesn't know or she doesn't know and begins to observe. Observation is the beginning of learning. And whom do you observe? You observe your child. When you sensitively observe your child, the child will tell you what the child needs. But we are now trained by the school not to observe, depend on somebody's knowledge. You see, this problem is typical of modern educated people. This is never ever a parenting workshop was held for a non-literate person, a person who has not gone to school. So this is actually the tragedy of school, that we have stopped learning. This is the gift of schools, that our learning mind has been completely destroyed and we have become dependent mind on somebody's knowledge. So this is a very, very important thing for you to understand. So this is not a place where I am going to tell you what to do, but we will together create an environment for all of us to learn and support each other in learning. That's precisely the point. But we will create a certain kind of systems for us to come together, learn together. So this is the whole idea of this. Right. And I have been actually learning children from almost 1991. When I began to live in rural tribal areas, I began to observe that there is a fundamental difference between how children live in rural tribal areas and how the educated people treat their children. I found that in the rural tribal areas, there is no teaching at all. They respect the nature of learning because nature is learning all the time. To live means to learn. Please understand this. We are confused because of schooling. We think that only if you go to school, you will start learning. This is the most absurd idea that schooling has done to us. Learning is the nature of life. So, the most important thing we as adults needs to do is to de-school yourself, unschool yourself. Don't do it for your child. This is an absurd idea when you keep telling you're unschooling your child. These are all strange words, that meaningless words that we carry in our head. Unschooling. Unschooling is required for those who are schooled. And the schooled are us, the adults. What children need is a space of total freedom. Existential freedom. Freedom doesn't mean whatever they want you give to eat and all that. That's absolutely a wrong idea at all. Freedom means cognitive freedom, existential freedom, being level freedom. Not for food and dress and toys and all that. No. Then you are again distracting the children from all their true need for freedom. True need for freedom is more existential, more at being level, not at wanting level. We are confusing between that. All of us think freedom means freedom to do this, freedom to do that, to eat this and go there. None of this is freedom actually. The most important freedom is at the level of being, that you are not conditioned by others. That my formation is my own making, not by someone else. Then I'm truly free. And all children are born free. So you don't have to do anything about it. All living beings are free. So you don't have to do anything about it, except get out of their way. Now, how do we get out of their way is something that we need to explore. That is what we need to explore. All right. So, the whole idea, I have a small presentation which I will tell you that how I am planning this whole thing. You see, we have tried WhatsApp groups and things like that, which is not really working out, because I don't know why people are not feeling free to share, or they are not observing. I have no idea. you know. And unless people contribute, unless we are all take part in this journey, it is not going to help each other, you know. So please understand this. So there are three aspects which I feel are very, very important. Number one is that how children learn the real world. Our learning is we are biologically equipped to learn the real world. Understand? The real world means what you see around, using your senses. That is what nature is doing. Bhavadarani, please don't take notes. There's no point. Don't become a good student, good studious person here. You drop your, idea of how to learn. Just listen. This is what you should do. Don't distract yourself with one hand writing, other hand scratching and all that. Don't do that. Just pay attention. And this is not for reading later. And whatever I'm telling you is not information that you do not know innately. This is something all living beings are doing all the time. The way you learned your mother tongue, nobody taught you, but you learned. Please understand, we are all equipped for that. So what I'm going to, propose is that we look at three aspects of learning. One is that how we learn the real world, how our senses function, it can make sense of it. That's number one. Second is that what is the role of language? Right? Because the whole confusion that we are in today is that we are assuming that knowledge is contained in language. Understand? We are mistaking description with the real. It is the real that we should be learning through and in fact, description is not required at all to understand, because your senses are directly connecting and understanding. You get this? So the role of language. And the third aspect is that the modern people are now what you call that? We are trapped in the realm of two-dimensionality. Initially, it was by the text, the books, which is two-dimension. And now it is a screen. Again, another two-dimension. So our research on children, very clearly, research meaning don't get afraid. What I mean by research is constant observation without conclusion. Never depending on whatever someone else has written. It may be right. We are not telling they are not right. But it is useless if you are just a believer. And knowledge is knowledge only when you experience it. Otherwise, it is information. Please understand this. The difference between information and knowledge is that you are experiencing it. Otherwise, even if Newton or Montessori have told it, is information. When you observe what you see, but you must learn how to see clearly without the mind coming in between. So our documentation on children's drawings very clearly showed that they are involved in trying to understand the world in terms of two-dimensional space. It is not art. Most of us, have been trapped by the idea something called art, which is about skill. No, this is not what children are doing. They are not doing art. Children are only trying to understand the world in terms of two-dimensional space when they are drawing. But that is only when, if you are not interfering and confusing them with the idea that drawing, skills, drawing art and all that. So if you use any of these words, then children will get confused. They think it is about, something else. But if you don't interfere, then see, the difference between children and us is that we are already conditioned by the whole schooling idea. And we are responding from the mind. Whereas the child is responding from nature, from life. Child is not responding from ego. Child is being nature itself. Which means, if you really want to understand the nature of a child, then step out, observe very sensitively, respond to them sensitively to what they want. All our fears, anxieties, we are pushing onto the child. When you're feeding a child, the child will spit, which means the child doesn't want. But what are the mothers doing, parents doing? They are somehow pushing onto the child. It is your fear you're pushing onto the child. So actually the tragedy is that modern educated people are tragic beings. They do not know life. It's not your mistake. We have been taken out of life. by modern education. Children are learning all the time. They are being live. So if you want to understand the nature of life, nature of how a child learns, step out, sensitively observe, and don't disturb the child with all the gadgets that modernity has pushed onto you. No toys, no unwanted food, you know. So we are confusing between, we are actually destroying their body's intelligence by overfeeding them, giving them unwanted choices, especially the choices that modernity is pushing onto you. The market is, pushing onto you. Reject the market. Market has no interest in truth, in life, in well-being. No, market is only interested in profit. Please understand this. They are not at all concerned. So the only way is that we as human beings who are concerned about our children should take up this responsibility of re-understanding children. Even academics are not interested in you. They are interested in PhD and their degrees. They are interested in their job. So mothers will have to come together, parents will have to come together and truly understand children, not from any other expert. Keenly observe, document, and share. And if there are certain confusions, we will clear it as we are sharing and learning from each other. I hope this is clear to you. No? So the three aspects that we apply. Yes, Bhagarani.
Okay. What you're telling is in rural. I mean, I grew up in a rural area, and I know like the environment was different. Okay, but right now my children grow up in a proper city where we don't have space, and like we live in a proper city type of setup. So how do children?
So see, there are certain fundamental changes that we can do to even to the city.
Okay.
Understand? First is your own notions about cleanliness. First thing, you are over concerned about. Again, it's a market dictated thing. Where you see in rural tribal areas, do you think they are unclean people?
No.
We have some nonsense market has kept in our head that you have to do chemicals to clean your. I think dust is more healthy than the chemical that you're putting on the floor. And then cleanliness about what will others think when somebody comes to your home. That's another tragic idea that people have. Don't worry, we don't need their certificate. Understand? Why I'm telling this is because you need to be a little bit more free about what children do in house. Because our problem is that they are not, we feel that they are not, we have to tidy up when they finish. No, don't worry about tidying up much, no? Don't get, so first thing is to deal with your own psychological blocks about all these things, See, the most important thing is that try and use ground as the space for most engagements, cutting vegetables, eating. So let your life be on the ground, because the ground is where that is the most child-friendly place. Children have visual access to everything that is happening. So they know that this is what you're doing. But another important thing is that don't sit as a teacher trying to teach anything. You be normal. That's very important. Don't even have the intention of teaching children, because that is what they will pick up. They will pick up your dishonesty, your concern, your distrust in life, because life is learning. Please understand this. Whatever you're doing, child is going to pick up. So be honest about yourself, that you understood that this whole education was nonsense. Both husband and wife, somebody was telling them, they were very, yeah. So now you understood it was a game that we played, it was a useless thing. We damaged our brain for no reason, forgot everything. For what? So it's very important that we don't damage the brain of a child. So, so allowing freedom is the most important thing. Then only we will be able to understand our children. Children do not need toys. This is another very, very important thing. Yes, Deepika. Unmute and...
as a mother, we are leaving them as free, but the surroundings for the children.
Yeah.
the grandparents, the neighbors, the other
Yeah.
childrens.
Yeah.
They are all enforcing them to follow. You do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. No,
You
these
don't
kind of
do
things
that.
you'll have to deal
You
with it.
take care of that.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Everything we can't, see, we have to deal with some of these issues, these are going to be there. And, but when you are convinced, you're able to tell them. So the issue is that how you understand it very clearly so that you can communicate to them. Other thing is that you can bring those people together and let us do one session with them, with the grandparents and all those people, no? Who you see, if you actually make them recollect their childhood, they will understand they had such free life, So you have to remind them of their own childhood, how freely they lived, how happy they were, and how unhappy today's children are. And what we are doing is that we are responding to their unhappiness with consumer products. Unhappiness is actually an existential problem. It has nothing to do with products. It's nothing to do with, but they're only time being postponing those real crises. The real crisis of boredom of modernity is something deep. Understand? You're not letting the child do what they want. What is boredom? You are forcing them to do something they do not like to do, which means, you see, when you do things that you like to do, there's no sense of boredom because you are not in time. You are not dealing with time. There's no resistance within you. Remember the Sunday evening before you went to school, and remember the Friday. Friday was Saturday, Sunday went so fast. Start from Monday. My God, time is taking. It's not moving at all. You see, what that means is that when we are doing something we like to do, there's no boredom. So if you force children to do what they do not like to do, naturally they will end up in a conflicting situation, conflicting within them of boredom. Understand? Conflict with time. You see, what they like to do are very simple. They may be just playing with something, maybe just sitting on a sofa and bouncing. This is all what they like to do. But immediately you say, sit down properly. You don't know how to sit. Don't impose things like that. You understand? So the very important thing is that we must clearly understand language. This is very, very important to understand language. Which means, what I mean by language is that how are children trying to communicate? Basically, that is what it is. Children are first learning to communicate through gestures and sounds. Right? Then they slowly make their own words. With those words, they begin to make small, small categories. Then they understand the words, then slowly phrases and then sentences. This is what the whole story is. So if you observe very clearly how children are doing, then you yourself will understand the magic that is happening in children, that they are absolutely capable. See, we know they're capable, but we don't know the mechanism. Once we understand the mechanism, life will be extremely simple for everybody. You must please understand that this must be done not as a selfish act of just looking after your child. You must understand that children all over are suffering from this educated parents. So why I have done this? Because I understood it very clearly. I began to document it and I began to tell everybody that this is what you're doing. So it is very important that we do it for humanity, not just for your child. Then you're again teaching a child to be selfish. Selfishness is not a natural response. Please understand this. Selfishness is again a tragedy of modern man. In a rural tribal area, how a child has access to anybody's house. They could go to anyone's house. There was no notion of privacy and things like that. And anyone would take care of their child. In fact, even often you find, suppose the mother is not there, there is someone else to give milk. I'm sure you must have, experienced these things in the villages. So I think, the selfishness is something that you are selfish. You're teaching your child to be selfish. Please understand this. So you have to grow. The whole question is, how do we undo our damages that has happened to us in a deep level? Because the child is not that at all. Please understand this. So the child is there for you to for you to de-school. Not your children has nothing to do with that. You are the one who need de-schooling, unschooling and all that. So don't pretend you are there to de-school them. It's an absurd idea, complete mistake. Yeah, Madhuri, you had...
Sir, my observation has been, when you said in the rural areas or in the olden times, each child can use the other house. There was nothing like privacy, access, all of this.
Yeah.
And how do I communicate to adults that I fall short of words? It's okay if your child comes to my home. It's okay. My child goes to your home. There's so many layers.
See, Madhuri, the whole problem is that you are living in the West. They are a gone case. They are so arrogant. They are so arrogant. They don't understand that they are the one who are causing all the problems of modern world. And they want to save others. And this is the problem. You see, the Western world is leading us to our destruction. Please understand this, with all their knowledge and all their confusions. Step out, learn from life, learn from nature, everything else except the Western culture.
You're coming back, sir.
I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that, but please understand this. I don't think they can come back that easy, but they're so egoistic. Anyway, so let me, if you're okay, then I will just share with you a small presentation. Yeah. And then I'm going to tell almost the same thing only, but, I hope I will, do it a bit more systematically, and so you get an idea that how we are going to take the steps actually. Okay. So I made it very clear that why we are doing it. They will imitate your dependency, because that is what you are, intellectual dependency, knowledge dependency. But they are born to learn. So if you become a learner, they will become a learner. So that is the basic thing. And the most important thing is that it is the intelligence of intelligence, creativity, all that needs to be, that gets developed when the child is doing everything on their own. What has been killed in us is our true intelligence and creativity by the whole schooling system. Intelligence basically means ability to learn. That is intelligence. Responding appropriately to situations.
Jinan?
Yeah.
Saji here.
Yeah.
And education is aspirational. I mean, it's now fed into us that education is aspirational. That means every child has to be educated in this way, in the way that we all have been toxically educated.
Yeah.
And recently I was in Kerala for a couple of weeks, and I had I was in the interiors of Kerala for some work, and I saw every other child being schooled, and I saw mini versions of me going through whatever I went through, and it's almost, so I hear what you're saying, Jinan.
Yeah, listen, see, Saji, don't worry about others. Please don't waste your time on others. We have to take responsibility for our children, and what we think is right is it should be done, even if everybody is against us, because you have actually seen it. You know exactly what is wrong with the world. So don't worry about others. I don't think we should waste time on discussing what others are doing. They are hindrances, fine, but that we have to deal with. All right, so there are three aspects, as I told you, is to be explored: how children learn the real world, how they learn to articulate, and the role of drawing in connecting three-dimensional world and the two-dimensional world. In fact, how do they connect the screen and the real world? And how we are doing is that we create an environment for children to be free, spontaneous, natural, by reducing, telling all kinds of things. You talk less, that's very good, if you can talk very less, because they are already absorbing what you are doing. You don't have to keep telling, that this is what you are doing. No, you don't have to do that. They are far more intelligent and intuitive that way. And stop, using terms like no, art, play. All this will actually, see, for example, when you say go and play, then you're creating a problem with the child, because the child is actually playful all the time. So they don't need a separate time for playing, because they're involved in play as a quality. It's a quality actually. And what we need to do is to observe, document, upload, and share and discuss. So that's the whole process that I'm, that I'm proposing actually. And the plan of action is that we will have 3 websites, which I'm already started working, especially on drawing, which I've already started doing. Other one, of course, I will need your help and collaboration and all that. So that needs to be done. And what we plan to do is that, so the procedure will be like this, that first I will do a proper webinar on each of the topics separately. Suppose we are going to do on language, then we will do one specific webinar just on language, communication. One on drawing and one on what children do actually, what we call as play and toy and all that. Now, there's a whole lot of confusion regarding that. What is play? Why I am telling children do not need toys and etc. So that will be done. And you will have to register and of course contribute to the work, because we are doing all this with absolutely no support at all. So we need your support to continue our work. And so in whatever way, monetary way you can contribute, please start doing it. Otherwise we will have to just close all this and stop doing these things actually. And then of course we need your help in promoting this whole idea to more and more people. See, the whole problem is that there are only very few people who are looking at this deeply. So you, for example, Madhuri, if you think that your community nearby, if they also understand this, naturally your life will be easier. So it's very important that you begin to spread this knowledge, into your neighborhood, to your connections. So it's very important that this should grow, and of course we need some of your time volunteering to help us in, maybe even making website and even day-to-day thing. If you have some time, 1 hour, 2 hours, please tell us that you can, this way you can contribute actually. And then, and as we again want to stress that this is not an expert dependent activity, but a community driven activity, which means it is, if you don't participate, then there is no point in doing this further, so systematically start documenting, uploading, see, initially, as I told you, I was doing it all alone in my, from 91 onwards. Then I met Ranjana in a school, and then we ran a school together, and then we began to collaborate. Then after some time, I met Shashi, so in the last 3-4 years, Shashi has been very closely working with us. So what is common about all the 3 of us is that we are observing what children are doing and talking about it. So all of us are learning together. And that is very important, that we document, come together, share, and then begin to, understand whether are we able to see properly, things like that, So just Madhuri, just 1 minute. I will just finish this and then we will have. So I hope you have read this. All right. I mean, it's the same thing that I've told you earlier. Okay. Yep. Okay. So just putting this I have sent you already, but that these are the 3 things why children play and make toys. Because see, actually play is every activity children turn into play.
Yeah.
And every object is a potential toy, which means that playfulness is the quality of exploring the world. It's not play. So we are turning that into one activity by giving them a toy. So please understand how we are harming children. So this we need to study properly and decode why they are doing what they are doing. That's very important. Then, of course, I told you language and drawing. Okay, I just explained all this to you. So okay, so Madhuri, you had something to say?
Yes, sir. Sir, the fundamental obstruction in observing a child, or I'm speaking from my own personal observation, or responding to a child in an appropriate way. Appropriate way meaning not misunderstanding the child. I felt that I was not able to do it consistently because of my because of the engagement with the 2D world more, which is devices. So because of too many thought loops, it seems that I have created a virtual world in my head where I'm responding to various thoughts that are coming in, and as a resultant of which I'm actually not observing. When the moments that I observe are what I share, I felt if we have to take the work forward, with the people who are really interested, I want to recommend the being in beauty and seeing workshop that you do, Jinan sir.
Yeah.
There is a fundamental obstruction in the way we see.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to share.
Yeah. शशि कुछ बोल रहे क्या शशि? Oh, I think Shashi is okay. So one important thing. Oh, I wanted to tell something which I forgot. भूल गया मैं. Sorry. So if I remember, I'll tell you. There's something that I. Okay, any confusion regarding this? So I will just explain to you the drawing thing that we have already, done. The website is 90% ready. All right. So it's a like a Facebook kind of a website in which each of the participant will have one page where they upload whatever they document. Oh, I remember what I wanted to tell you. One very, very important thing about observation and documentation is that don't ever let the child know that you are documenting nor observing. We have to observe in such a way that we don't make them conscious of what they are doing. Children don't like to be observed like that. So don't turn them into a study subject in that sense. But because of a situation that we are in, we need to very sensitively observe your child. So this is basically the catch-22 situation. You have to know the child, but you can't observe them in the manner that you might disturb their activity. Because see, the more you document, the more they will begin to exhibit what they are doing, and they will begin to perform for you. That should never happen. Then we are harmed the whole thing. And also don't get into praising them nor degrading them. Don't do both. Even praising them is extremely bad, because life doesn't want anybody's praise. Please understand this. Whatever a child is doing is for its innate need, not for your need. When a child is, trying to walk, crawling, all that is not something that you can clap and make the child, improve. Please don't do any of that. This is something that the life has already equipped us with. And by all the drama that we are doing, we are only disturbing the child's natural process actually. By praising them, by telling them, no, this is not right and things like that. So that is, I just wanted to remind you that all this documentation should be done with extreme care, extreme sensitivity. All right. So the drawing thing, that as I was telling you, so each of us will have one page, and so we document what the children are doing, upload, and then maybe we will have maybe one meeting maybe in 10 days or something like that, so that we have enough things that people are uploading that we can discuss about. So the whole thing about language, let me start with language. Language is that start very keenly observing each gesture they do. So this is valid for smallest children. In fact, it will be very interesting if you have observed what is happening in the womb itself. Start from the womb. What is the communication that the child is telling you? I am telling this because I'll just share one experience with you. One of my friend who told me one very interesting incident. She used to be a smoker. And when she was pregnant, maybe about 4 or 5 months into the pregnancy, when she was smoking, the child started kicking from inside. I don't know exactly which month, after the leg and all is grown and all that. No, that's time, maybe 6 months, I don't know. No? So when she was smoking, the child began to kick from inside. But within few days, after few days, even an urge she has to smoke, the kick starts. So even your mind is the child's mind. I would say slowly, if you are sensitive, the child's mind will become your mind. It will reverse slowly, because the child is making you vomit, isn't it? Who is making you vomit? It needs a very, why are you vomiting? I think it is because the womb was not good for the child at that time. What you're eating is bad. So the child is giving you information, now vomit it out. I don't need this food. You change the food, vomiting stops. Of course, these days, of course, they give you some medicine, which is actually absolutely wrong. Take medicine and stop vomiting, actually. The food is not something that is creating problem with it. So the child is letting you vomit and asking you to eat a better food. Right from then, the child is warning you, what nonsense are you eating? No, it's not good for health. So what I'm trying to say is that womb experience is something that is really worth, worth sharing. If any one of you remember, it's very, very important. And also please understand this, that this personal experience is very, very important for you to share, because this is what you're giving to humanity. People should understand how harm they are doing to their children right from the time when they are inside the womb. It's very important to make more and more people understand this. So maybe we should, we should have a one blog or site or something like that, just on the experience of the womb. Right? So the language thing, what I was telling was that start with gestures. What are they trying to communicate? Why are they making certain sounds? You understand? So we will do one session on language. How actually children do this, how they connect word and the word. And then we start documenting and uploading this. So similar things we will do it with all the three things. So that's the whole idea actually. All right, I hope you got it. Shashi? Ranjana, Shashi, would you like to share something or?
Jinan, I'm listening to whatever is happening here.
Yeah.
I'm busy, some urgent cooking, so I can't.
No, don't worry.
Participate, but I'm
Yeah.
listening to everything here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I hope you understand this. And please, one request is that please inform this to more and more people, especially young parents. In fact, it will be good if they are, they're just pregnant, that's all. So that, the story can begin right from that time, no? Not after they become older, by then, you see, with each day we are conditioning them if you are not careful. And then we have to start deschooling them along with us. But it's going to be too late. Once it's like this, when your habits are already taken over you, it's very difficult to undo those habits. It's not easy because you have to spend that much amount of time to undo them. So yeah, is that fine? So as soon as so what I will do, yeah, Deepika, please. Yeah, Deepika, please. No, not hearing. Can't hear. Maybe you can switch off your video and say, or did you reduce the volume by mistake? No, sun nahi pa raha hai, nothing.
No?
Now we can hear.
Yeah, okay, you type. So, see the what you call that, the WhatsApp group that I have created is a temporary one. That is only to get people, first level. Second level, I'm going to give you 3 groups. One is on language, one is on drawing, one is on play. 3 groups. And you can, join that. And then let's see how to take this forward. So, we are wanting to hear from you also. If you have any idea as to how do we take this forward.
So some rigor into daily observations. If you're not able to observe, why some reflection on that? So that
No. Listen, yeah, Badri, we don't want to come with a stick. It's your problem. Actually, it's your problem. It's not my problem. Please understand this. You have to understand that you have to start seeing children choicelessly. This is what is not happening. So why is it that see, I see children, I don't have to make an effort. I see them. I see exactly what they're doing. That's because I trained my system to observe. What is happening is that we are not able to observe because we are always absent. We are not physically present. That presence, establishing our presence is very important.
So, may I?
Yeah, who is that?
Okay. Himani.
Yeah, Himani, please.
So I wanted to know, since my daughter is 9 years old, in what way can I contribute to this? Because I don't.
Yeah. So you can actually observe what the child is doing spontaneously, meaning, making things, drawing or all that, But if she's already been taught drawing, then it is going to be a little bit of a problem, because
she was never taught drawing, but she has like I said, thankfully, a lot has come from you, much earlier stage. So I started actually following you when I was pregnant.
Oh,
and
why didn't you call me then?
I have been in touch with your emails and
no, but talking is very important, no? Getting in touch is important.
Yeah. So in that sense, she was never forced into anything, and she has never been following any guidelines as such, as far as we understand it. So the only reason I ask is that because I don't I do have her transition in, but nothing is documented as such. So I want to know if there's some way.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You can even try to recollect. You see, the thing is that if you're taking part, many things you might be able to recollect when others are also what do you call that? Uploading, na?
Right.
Understand? So I think 9-year-old is also doing something spontaneously, na?
Yes.
So
absolutely,
let's begin to do that. I think it's okay. So the thing is that, we can, of course, each person will have child, their name, their, whatever their age and all that. No, so we are very clear at what age they are doing. Na? So the whole idea is to create a fantastic documentation of various things that are happening, but we will have 3 different websites for that. That's what I thought was important. Of course, these activities are same. Please understand that. So these are not 3 different activities. But I thought for convenience sake, it's good to, have 3 different websites and, where we can, yeah.
So Zinan, this language development observation is mainly for the youngest, very young children, not for
language is little already, because when they are slightly older, they are already kind of trained with language, huh?
Which are in the environment.
Yeah. You see,
so,
there is a fantastic correlation between how they learn language and how they learn the world. This is to be understood. These are not separate. They are actually, it is about the world, the language is being created. And the system children use is exactly same for both.
Right.
Understand? Like the kind of categories they build. See, for example, a child is calling crow kaka. All right. Because the child, the crow was the first or the most familiar thing the child has seen. So some name, let's call it ka, some name the child gives. All right. So all flying ones become ka for the child. So the language and the world are being connected, no? So the category is built, the language category is, it is a world that creates, helps the child to create a category, all flying ones are kaka. Understand? I'm talking about an example that somebody gave, actually. She saw this peacock flying. So this little child told that is kaka, it's crow. And the peacock got down and started walking. Then she told this is kuta, the same thing. So the child's category was all flying ones are kaka and all walking ones were kuta. Understand? So it's so very important to see how the world and the word is so connected intimately by the child and how we break it completely because of schooling and teaching. So for an interesting thing is that for a non-literate person, meaning of a word is an object or a phenomena. For a literate person, meaning of word is another word. You understand? That's the problem. For non-literates, all words have a very, very close connection with any phenomena that are experiential. Whereas you can look at many words that we keep talking, they look completely meaningless. We just use those words, we create our own meanings, but those are, just our meanings. Got it?
So, like, I still have some doubts regarding how children pick up language. Like like in my house, like I speak my regional language, Manipuri, and when the child goes to other environment where people are speaking like English, Hindi, the major languages, which like I feel children picks up language mostly from their peers, from their friends, mostly from the friends, and they use the language which. Like they use it when they have to communicate. When my son has to communicate with me, he will be using only Manipuri because he knows I speak only in that language with him. Or if he has to speak to a friend who is speaking English, he will use English and communicate in English. So we are in a place where people are mostly speaking in English or Hindi. and we are in Punjab, and I feel like they should hear Punjabi as well, but it's not coming, how would I say, prominently. But somehow I have this feeling that they might have picked up certain phrases, words, but it's not coming in front of me. Maybe they are communicating with the friends that I have never heard. So with time, even though my son is 4.5, he might, pick up Punjabi over the period of time. So
yeah, I think
4.5.
See, I think there are still things that we can observe, and when they are learning this new language, what kind of, so I think, see, the basic thing is that, are we observant? The problem is with us, we are not observant at all. We are not paying attention to what is happening. If you're paying attention, then we are able to understand. We are able to pick up what is happening. So this whole thing demands that you become true learners, meaning you're truly being present, being observant.
Yeah.
Understand? So that is a whole idea. Otherwise, it's not going to, take us anywhere. So anyway, let's try it out and then see how it, proceeds. If it doesn't work out, then we can wind up this whole idea. Then, that's a option is always there. Okay.
No, my question is like, he's 4.5 years old already, but I have a feeling that children can still pick up certain languages from the environment, not being taught, but from the environment. They'll still pick up if it is there. So I mean, like, even for 4.5 years old, we can still observe.
Absolutely. No, there is no, see, we are not telling that they are not learning after that. So language, it can be even for longer time. See, the whole idea is that, are we observing these various things? No. So I am not making a rule that you shouldn't, do this, do that. No. There are three aspects that we want to explore. One is language, one is the world, and one is its abstraction into two-dimensional, space, which is the paper. Understand? So how children do this is what we have to understand. Right? Yeah. Okay. So, Saji, you want to say something?
Yes, Jinan, the magic with you is there are so many bingo moments. It really gets me into a meditative state. Frankly, I've just started working with very young children for a project of mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this forward with them. And I think, it's such a reflective time even for adults, at how we continue to, behave in this way with the world around us, and how observing children will really kind of get us back to our basic selves, so I think it works both ways. You observe children, and then frankly I observe myself. What is my interpretation? How am I judging? What space am I observing? And how am I being as sure. So I think that it works both ways, and I think parents, I think it will be a wonderfully reflective space for parents as well.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So next step, I will send you the 3 different. But I think what is happening is that people who have not come for this this webinar. No point in giving them these links, because it doesn't make any sense. It's very important that people attend these webinars and then participate. So how do we do that? Oh, I don't know.
Jinan, we can spread the word around. We can get more parents involved.
No. What I'm right now telling is that.
Yes, I understand. I heard you. I hear you.
To answer for that is what is right now.
Yeah.
No, Jinan, the new short videos that you have started doing, no?
Yeah.
Those are quick and quite easily absorbable.
Yeah.
So maybe like what you sent before we came for this webinar.
Yeah.
I think that was very useful. I think that way we can go forward, even in that small.
No. That's not the point. Is not that the logistics of how do we get into 3 groups of the drawing? Because see, I have already created 3, what you call that, 3 WhatsApp groups on drawing, on play, and on language. But I don't want to give access to anybody and everybody who has not attended this kind of webinars, because we have had a discussion properly. And now you have to choose. I think there are about 24 people here, or -3, 21 people. Right? There was 23. Anyway, so this 23 people, I only want you people to now, because if you want, then you should then write back to me, or email me or WhatsApp me. Then I will send you the 3 WhatsApp groups. You choose which to join. All the 3 is also fine. Do you understand my point?
Yes.
Otherwise, some new person comes in, again one has to go into this whole explanation and all that. Of course, this will be now on the what you call that. We'll be uploading this. We'll send you this first, and you can send it to any other people. They must observe. They must go through this, understand what we are trying to do, and then come together. So the bottom rule is that we are not teaching our children, nor are we learning from experts. We are learning from our children, and we are unschooling ourselves in the process. So these are the basic, I think, 4 rules that we should keep in mind. That's all. Right? I'm telling this from my own experience. It is from children that I have learned. From children. When a child adopted me, but she's now 22, so it's 21.5 years ago. I took 3 decisions: never say no to her, always follow her, and never lie to her. When you do that, then the child is responding as they are. They're not trying to do anything to you to please you. Then you very clearly see what they are all about. What do they do spontaneously? What do they actually like to eat? When do they want to sleep? They don't want to sleep for some time. So you have to put up with all that. Because our rule is that don't say no to her. Always follow her. Follow her means she will dictate. Kab sona hai, kab khana hai. You see? All right.
So this,
Hemani,
yes? just one thing that I think my 9 years of journey with my child taught me is to completely leave aside that ego and that whole all-encompassing understanding that I know the best. Yes, you will always want the best for your child. But I think the first trust has to be in the child herself. That nobody will know her better than she herself.
Absolutely.
So I think just leaving that ego aside, you suddenly start becoming that observer that you thought you could never be. So I think, I just wanted to say it aloud.
Thank you, Himani. So with that, I will stop now.
To say something.
iPhone.
So you said don't say no. So I've been I follow you since I saw Durgesh Nandini's conference. Since then, and I've been observing my child. I've been minimal interference and everything, but there are few things like she wants the TV because she's seeing her sisters, her cousins watching it all the time. She wants the junk because she sees it because I have some more people with me in the house who are having junk. You cannot stop them, and they see the package. What to do with that?
Remove TV from home.
That becomes a difficult part to handle because I don't say no to her to anything, but these things I have to stop her, and then those tantrums start.
What we can try is remove TV from home.
Unfortunately, you can't do that when you're living with other people.
I know.
No, exactly. Can I say something here?
No, please.
Hi. So, like my daughter, when she was very young, she was in Mirambika. So Mirambika has similar philosophy. And I remember my husband, Vineet, he used to be watching TV 24, a lot. He would sleep watching TV. It was in our room and things like that. And Slochna Didi at that point had said, remove the TV from your room. And we did that. We removed it and put it on another floor. So what happened was, it's an effort to go there. So when it's an effort to go there, it automatically reduces. And today, sorry. Sorry, one sec. Can you all see me? So today our daughter is 26 and she has a TV in her room, but she doesn't watch that much.
Yeah.
So definitely what they're saying is remove the TV. If you can, at least put it on another floor or something like that.
Or let something go wrong and let it not work for some days. Na? You remove something, let's
that's
see
a good
what
idea.
happens.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Huh?
Yeah.
So what you should do is that you have my number.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to complicate my life more now.
We can have some volunteers.
That's if somebody can do that, that will be a great help. Can someone?
I would like to take it up for language. Because I'm observing my child for language.
All right. So Madhuri, I will send you the WhatsApp group. So please, will you just put in your number?
My number.
So Madhuri for language.
I'll do for play.
Who is that?
Bhavadarani.
Bhavadarani for play. Please, Bhavadarani, put your number.
Yeah.
And drawing, I need one person.
I can do.
Oh, Renuka. Renuka. Yeah. So Renuka is going to do for drawing. Okay. So what I will do, I will send this WhatsApp groups to you, and from this group you add. Okay. So will you get what Gita? What are you doing, Gita? Why are you sending your number? No. You don't send. Whoever is interested in language, please, take Madhuri's number and send her the message. You show your willingness to join Madhuri for play or for language. And for drawing, send it to Renuka. Okay?
Renuka, please share your number.
Renuka, please share your number.
And
Bhavadarani is for play. Correct?
And share it here.
Yeah.
Share it. Send the message. I'll stop.